Hello everyone, it's Annabella here. This week's reading was actually a request from a few weeks ago, and I personally really wanted to do it too because I really like Liang Jie and Joseph Zeng's drama together, High Venus. It's honestly one of my go-to dramas whenever I'm in the mood for a classic romance, like the kind with a CEO male lead and that typical sweet, comforting vibe. I really enjoy their chemistry in that drama, so I've been curious to see what kind of cards would come up for them. I know they probably haven't worked together in a while, so this is more of a high-level energy reading just to get a sense of what kind of dynamic or relationship they may have had while working together or possibly still have now. As always, remember this is a celebrity tarot reading, so take everything with a grain of salt. But alright, without further ado, let's get into the first card, Nine of Wands. Pulling the Nine of Wands as their first card is actually really interesting because we're just starting the reading and already we're getting kind of a heavy card. But I like to look at it from a particular angle. The Nine of Wands often represent someone who's been through a lot, someone carrying emotional or mental baggage, but still wants to keep going, still wants to fight for whatever goal they have in mind. In the context of this reading, it could be pointing to the idea that when they were working together, both of them might have been dealing with personal baggage, whether that's from being celebrities or maybe even from past relationship experiences. And that kind of weight can definitely affect how open or connected you can be with someone else. That said, I don't get the feeling that this card is suggesting any kind of conflict between them. It doesn't feel negative in that way, but it does suggest that the emotional weight they were carrying may have made it a little harder for them to get super close. It's like there's this invisible wall, maybe it was just hard to fully open up or trust, even if they had good chemistry on screen. The second card we have here is the Queen of Swords, and I actually think this really supports the energy we got from the Nine of Wands. The Queen of Swords is someone who leads with her mind. She's logical, sharp, and sometimes even witty or talkative. But underneath that, there's a sense of emotional distance. In this reading, I feel like this Queen of Swords energy is likely representing Liang Jie. There's a strength to her here, but also a kind of guardedness. Sometimes this card can carry a slightly tougher or more reserved vibe in the context of relationships. Not in a bad way, but more like someone who's been through something and has had to build walls around themselves for protection. It's that kind of energy you often see in someone who's fresh out of a tough breakup or who's had to become emotionally resilient because of past experiences. So again, it kind of echoes that feeling from the Nine of Wands, like there's a barrier that makes getting close a little more complicated. Next, we have the King of Wands, and since we already pulled a queen, I definitely feel like this king is representing Joseph in this reading. One thing that stands out to me is that he's fire energy, while the Queen of Swords is air, and honestly, fire and air usually mix really well together. I think that's probably where a lot of their chemistry on screen comes from. As the King of Wands, Joseph is showing up with this bold, passionate energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, though it could be, but it feels more like a strong sense of attraction or admiration, maybe even a creative or professional passion that he directed into their scenes together. It's like he brought this fire, this intensity, and she responded with her wit, her charm, and her calm logical presence. She might not be in a place where she's interested in romance, especially if she's still guarded, but sometimes having that clear boundary actually helps the chemistry. It keeps things professional while still allowing that spark to come through naturally. The Ace of Swords here really reinforces what I just mentioned, that when two people have clear boundaries, a shared mindset, and a solid plan, it can actually create a different kind of chemistry, one that's rooted in their art, their acting, and their shared professionalism. This card is all about clarity, truth, and mental alignment. And to me, it shows that they were likely on the same page when it came to their work. They probably had a very straightforward and respectful working relationship, which allowed them to bring out the best in each other on screen. So even if there were emotional walls or personal distance, the connection they had through their craft was still really strong. Ending with the Seven of Pentacles, what really stands out to me is that there's no cups energy in this entire spread. That absence kind of confirms that this connection wasn't about emotions or romance. It was more grounded and practical, and the Seven of Pentacles especially makes me feel like both of them really wanted their collaboration to succeed. Since High Venus aired a few years ago, seeing this card now makes me wonder if there were lingering hopes or thoughts about what could have been more. Maybe something like, we could have done better, or would we ever get a chance to work together again? Overall, I think it's safe to say that this relationship feels very professional. They work really well together because of their compatible energy. Her air and his fire just made sense, but at the same time, they're both still very much focused on their careers. That seems to be where their energy was going during the time they were filming. So yeah, that's the end of this reading. I hope it felt clear and easy to follow. If you're interested in any other celebrity readings, let me know in the comments. Or if you like a personal celebrity reading or a reading just for yourself, you can always email me. And of course, just a reminder that these are celebrity readings meant for entertainment. I'm simply interpreting the cards and the energy around them, but I don't know them personally, so everything should be taken with a grain of salt. I hope you enjoy the reading. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.